Hello, everybody. Hey now. Welcome to the Sam Dean Podcast, where we talk about life uncensored. Today on the show is just me. Some of my thoughts, some introspective, some ideas, hopefully a little motivation. Our podcast is sponsored by Van Zant Coffee Company. It's our company. We roast coffee beans right here in East Texas. It's the best coffee you've ever had. Order yours, vanzantcoffee.com. Also, our show is brought to you by Protein Proletas. That's PROLETAS.com. And what it is it's protein ice cream bars. Some of the ice cream bars have 24 grams of protein. It tastes great. And I sell them at both CrossFit gyms, CrossFit Van Zant in Canton and CrossFit Van Zant South in Athens. So go to proletas.com to order yours and have a fun snack after you work out. So thanks a lot, and thanks for listening. All right, well, here we are. Or here I am, and me and Murphy. But today's my first podcast, just solo, and I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I want to kind of talk about why I'm doing this podcast anyway. And I've been wanting to do this podcast because I want to learn as much as I can, and I want to learn as much as I can about the people that I really care about. And when I get to interview other people, and a lot of my shows are 2 hours long. You get the whole story. Too often when you're listening to someone, you only get these little fragments, and a lot of it's just small talk, and they're saying something because they think it might just be what you want to hear. But with the podcast, I really can practice my active listening and ask great questions and really digest people's stories. So this morning I woke up, had the morning off, and I ate 3 boiled eggs that Ashley made, and they were tasty. Got dressed, went out and checked on the cows. Took the Dodge Power Wagon over the water crossing, make sure my water crossing's still navigable. I think that's a word, navigable. Make sure I could still cross Potawatomi Creek, and I was able to, and I was like, man, that was cool. I really love my Power Wagon. I've had this truck for about 2 years, but I bought a 2005 Dodge Power Wagon off of eBay, and went up to St. Louis, Missouri. Me and Jose drove my white Chevy Colorado from Athens to St. Louis to pick up the Power Wagon that I bought off eBay. And I brought my tow bar. So once I got the Power Wagon, we towed the Colorado back. Anyway, it's been a great truck. It has over 200,000 miles on it. Right now, 218,000 something to be exact. If you don't know what a Dodge Power Wagon is, originally it was a military truck that Dodge made back in the 50s, I believe. Not the 50s, 50s and 60s. But anyway, the latest generations, I think mine's considered a third generation. It's a 2005 model. And every Power Wagon since 2005 has these things that normal trucks don't have. So they're all 3/4 ton, and they all have 4-wheel drive. But they all have a factory winch on the front. So mine has a worn 12,000-pound winch on the front of it that's tucked away nicely, so you don't even really notice it. I used it today, by the way, to pull out a big, huge branch that had fallen on a fence for one of my rent houses. But also, they have, even more importantly, they have front locking differential and a rear locking differential. And they also have a button to disconnect your front sway bar in order to give your tires and your front axle better articulation when you're going over rocks or bumps or whatever. So, for instance, when I was going down over the creek today, I had to go kind of at an angle and fit one of my tires down the big drop off. So I disconnected the sway bar, and that tire was able to go all the way down there to get traction to help pull the truck over. Now, My Colorado probably would have made it because it's smaller and it also has front lockers, but it has an independent front suspension and it doesn't have as much travel with the tires and stuff. So it would have been way more off camera, but still probably would have made it. And anyway, it's a 2005 model. I paid $9,500 for it, and the only thing I've done to it since then, I had the front end tightened up and new ball joints and stuff, and it made it to where it tracked better because the alignment was pretty off, and uh, it was just kind of loose steering. And I got new Toyo tires on it recently, 35-inch tires, and it's just been a great truck. It's of course it's a gas, so all the Power Wagons are like a gas engine. They don't make it in a diesel, unfortunately. But so it gets 10 miles to the gallon. I also got some new tail lights put on because one night me and Ashley were in it and backed into the barn and broke my tail light off. And I had it taped up for a long time, and I finally just got some new factory tail lights and put them in. But if you need a good ranch truck, and this is what I consider my ranch truck, find an old Dodge Power Wagon and buy it. It's just got so many cool features. Anyway, love the truck. Used the winch today. So after I had my boiled eggs, got dressed, went over the creek. I actually filmed a little short video of it, put it on my Instagram page. Sometimes I feel the need to do that. I don't know why. I just want to show people like how cool I am, or I just want to show people like I got out this morning, went across the creek, and I just thought what I was doing was really awesome. So I just wanted to share it with my friends, I guess. And actually, the first time I went through, my dad called me right in the middle and stopped my video, so I had to do it again. And got a couple mosquito bites. Um, I'm reading this book now called Killing of Crazy Horse, and the Killing series from Bill O'Reilly and Martin Dugard, I believe his name is. I've read them all. This is the latest one, and it's so fascinating. But it talks about Abraham Lincoln, who was in Illinois, was part of the militia, and actually he was picked as an officer too to fight, I believe, the Creek Nation. But anyway, he didn't see any action during the Indian fighting. But later on, when he was running for president, I guess, or on the campaign trail later in life, he goes, I lost a lot of blood to mosquitoes in the war. And I thought that was pretty funny because I lose a lot of blood to mosquitoes out here. Um, so anyway, after I got done messing around in the creek, checking on the cows, I drove to Canton with my chainsaw and my pole saw, and went to one of my rental houses on Big Rock Street, went into the backyard, drove in the backyard, found the large branch that had fallen on the fence, and decided what to do. Well, the sucker was huge, and it was kind of grown up around it, and there's no real good way to get in there, so I just hooked the winch around it, and gently pulled it off the fence back into the yard, and then I started to cut it up. Well, I took the old Echo's chainsaw out that I've had for years, and started cutting. Well, the chainsaw blade was super dull, and so it was more like gumming. I was trying to gum the tree to death, and cut, just really half-assed would cut, and I was like, man, I need to go to Ace Hardware and get a new chain. But then I was like, well, let me just use the pole saw, and I just recently put a new chain on my pole saw, so I took my pole saw out and just cut that sucker up like butter. But then I was left with these pretty giant um, just logs of wood, and looking at them, I was like, man, these suckers are going to be heavy. And went down to pick up the first one to put it in the back of the truck because I want to bring it back to the ranch to use for fires and stuff whenever we get a big fire going. I picked it up like it was nothing, threw it in the back of the truck, and then I was like, damn. I love doing jobs like this because I feel like a man, sawing wood, also mending fences, fixing a fence. But this is the reason I do CrossFit, so I can still do manly stuff like this, and it doesn't kill me, you know. Most people would pay somebody to come take care of that, but I just did it in just an hour. Cut up this huge branch, and this sucker was like definitely 20 something foot long, about as big around as, your waist. I guess that would be 34 inches or however big your waist is. And yeah, put it in the back of the truck. Then I went to the gym where Ashley was working because I wanted to show off a little bit, tell her everything I did, and so I got to do that. Saw some old friends there, Crystal McReynolds and Johnny, her new husband. They were in town. Also saw one of my favorite athletes, Brian Fain, who's killing it. And his mom told me, Sharon was like, you need to get some more extra large t-shirts because she's tired of washing the CrossFit t-shirt. He just got a CrossFit Van Zant extra large t-shirt, a navy one that I got him. And they bought it, but he wears it every day. So she's tired of washing it. He loves it so much. And so Brian has lost over 100 pounds, and so has Sharon. She's doing great, but Brian is one of my friends. So Ben Fain is one of my friends from school. He's a year younger than me. He was in Boy Scouts with me, played football with me. But his dad, Gary Fain, who's passed away, but he was one of our football coaches. And Brian is a special needs kid of theirs who was the water boy on the football team whenever I played on Canton High School. And now he's a member of CrossFit Van Zant, and he's killing it every day. So anyway, Sharon was like, you need to get some different shirts because he needs some more CrossFit shirts. It's the only thing he likes to wear. So today I'm going to design a new CrossFit shirt and order some so Brian can have some more shirts. That made me feel great. After that, I went by the bank. Then I went to look at it's another rent house that has a tree. This time the branch was way over the house, and I didn't want to mess the house up, so I called Eager Beaver Tree Service. Eager Beaver Tree Service, who's a buddy of mine. But anyway, they're going to come take care of that. Then I dropped some coffee off at Dan Morrow's office for him and Dawn, and I came back to the ranch where fed the cows, talked to my good buddy Sam Brown on FaceTime, gave him a tour of the ranch and of the Lost Cody bar, and decided to do a podcast. So now I've got it's about 1:26 p.m. on Thursday. I've got a few hours to kill before I go back to the gym and teach CrossFit kids at 4:30, and then 2 CrossFit classes. I also have to do the workout this evening. Tomorrow on the podcast, I'm having Mike and Bess Suarez coming by the Lost Cody Ranch bar. They're going to do the podcast. They own Come and Take It. It's a beer and wine market in Athens where they sell Van Zant coffee, but they also sell like any craft beer that you want. And Bess said that she's going to bring some beers for the show, and we're going to do a beer tasting on the show tomorrow evening. So I'm excited about that. Mike and Bess are great people. The family's awesome. And I'm interested to know about how you run a grocery store, or, like how people that sell beer, how much do they buy it for, how much they sell it for, how do they keep it stocked and stuff like that. I'm terrible. Like at CrossFit, I'm terrible at stocking the drinks and the, t-shirts. Obviously, I'm always running out, or I don't have too much, and it lasts for 3 years, or it sells out immediately and everybody's wanting it, but I can't order it again, or it's just, I guess that's logistics that it's really tough for me to deal with. But yeah, that would be, it's all about, grocery stores has everything to do with logistics. And I heard Walmart, like when you go to Walmart and you buy something, it immediately, when it scans across the checkout line, it immediately sends an email to the distribution warehouse. They put another one of those on the next truck coming to that Walmart, and when it gets there, I guess they scan it in and put it on the shelves. Like they know, so they're always stocked, and that's how Walmart stays on top of it. So that's interesting. Anyway, they'll be on the show next. Bess and Mike Suarez, and I'm excited. Um, I had a good talk the yesterday about with some of my members about range of motion, and too often we get focused in too much on the amount of weight that we're lifting. And while we need to be concerned about how well we're moving, and range of motion is the most important part. So I tell like my athletes, I don't care if you have a PVC pipe that weighs 1.5 pounds and you're using that instead of your weights. If you're going all the way up and all the way down in your squats or whatever movement you're doing, that is what's important. Only then can you add some more weight and then challenge yourself further. Because it makes no sense to have a bunch of weight on there and you for only to go halfway down. Take for an overhead squat for instance. If you can only squat halfway down, you've got too much weight. Take it off until you can go the full range. And the reason is because we train functional movements. And functional movements, for one, they're categorically unique in their ability to express power, but they need to be measurable, observable, and repeatable. So when you fall on the ground and you get up off the ground, how do you get up off the ground? The first move you have to do is a push up. And if you're laying flat on the ground, that is the bottom of the push up. So when you do your push ups, if you don't go all the way down, then you're not training the most fundamental thing is getting yourself up off the ground. You're not training it correctly. So when you do a push up, go all the way up and all the way down. Even if you're doing it from your knees, which is fine, even if you're doing it from a tabletop or even if you're doing it off the wall or a box, you need to go all the way up to elbow lockout and then all the way down to the ground. Once you do the push up, when you're getting off the ground, you have to put one foot flat on the ground. So you have to bring a knee up. And that is when we do knees to elbows, or whenever we do sit-ups, or toes to bar, or whenever we climb a rope, we have to bring our knees up. That is an essential piece. Can you lift your knee up and put your foot flat on the ground? So even if you're holding on to like the couch or something and you're trying to stand up, you've got to put that, you bring one knee up, put your foot on the ground. Then you have to bring the other knee up and put your other foot on the ground. So now what position are you in? Well, you're in a deep squat. You're at the bottom of the squat. And then you stand up using your heels and your hamstrings and your glutes. But if you're doing squats at the gym and you're not going all the way down, you're not training all the muscles and all the range of motion for the squat. So you're not doing the functional movement. Now, it's different if you're bodybuilding. If you're wanting to get just big muscles, you need to do short reps and put your muscles time under tension for your muscles, and that's going to generate big muscles, which I guess are cool, but it's not helping you get more functional outside the gym. Um, so range of motion is key. So don't, whenever, whenever you get 40 or 50 or 60, who cares about how much you lift? Just how well do you move? Once you move well, then start loading up because you need to challenge yourself and you continue to progress. CrossFit never gets easier. You just get better. And that's just something to remember. People are like, man, when I get in shape, these workouts are going to be easy. No, they're not. The workouts are never easy. They're not easy for Matt Frazier. They still suck just as bad for Matt Frazier as they do for anybody else. He's just so much better. He's so much faster because he trains all the time and he trains hard as hell. So yeah, if Matt Frazier was with me today, one, he could have probably picked the huge log up by himself and moved it back. He wouldn't have to hook the winch to it. But he could have sawed and loaded the wood in the back of the truck way faster than I could. I did it just fine. And, I sweat. Of course, I sweat when I peel an orange or when I sit on the toilet, I sweat, because I'm a redhead. I think it's a redhead thing. I don't know. But, so anyway, I don't know. I really don't know where I was going with that. But range of motion is key. Also, and I tell people, like, believe in yourself. I have a lot of new members, and, sometimes they're like, oh, I can't, I'm never going to finish this workout. Or, before the workout even starts, they're already giving themselves negative self-talk. And you need to think positive. You need to think that you can do anything. It's so empowering to just to know that you can accomplish anything that you really try. So, believe in yourself, meaning that, like, when I lift weights, and, I'm not the best in the world, but I'm pretty good. I've been doing this for a while. And anytime I go for a lift, I see, in my mind, I see success. So I literally picture myself lifting the weight and act successfully. So I see myself doing it successfully. And I like see myself giving like everybody a high five and everybody cheering and like dropping the weight, and celebrating, because positive, imagery in your head will transfer to success. If you in your mind, if you think, if you go into a weightlifting thinking, "Oh, I'm probably not going to get this. I'm going to fail. I'm going to drop this weight on me," then you're 80% likely to fail. And it's like playing golf. Like when you play golf, whenever you line up to the golf ball, you should see the perfect shot in your head before you hit. When you're back there taking your practice swings, you should get the mental image of you hitting the ball going straight down the fairway, landing where you want it to land, and then everybody saying, "Hey, good shot, man." If you see that and then you line up and hit it, you're more likely to actually do that. And I'm a firm believer in that. And, a lot of the people that are successful will tell you that same thing. And same way with CrossFit, and anything you do, really. Basketball, anything. You need to see yourself, uh, see success, um, and believe in yourself. It's the workout's not going to kill you. Sometimes I told this to Ryan this morning. I said, Ryan Panel, Ryan, I know you listen to the podcast, man. I'm talking about you. But he goes, I'm trying to get him to sign up for the Tribute to Heroes, the competition we're having November 14th. He goes, I'm going to die. I said, well, you're going to want to die, but you're not going to die. It's not going to kill you, What else? Going back to cars, I talked about the Dodge Power Wagon. It's cool. I've also got another truck I really love. My other truck's a Chevy Colorado, 2018. Bought it from Henry Lewis. And it's a Duramax diesel, so it's a 2.8-liter small diesel engine. Gets 24 miles to the gallon. But I always love 4x4s with locking differentials. And what locking differentials give you is, if you don't know what this is, whenever you drive a normal car that's rear wheel drive and two wheel drive, whenever you hit the gas, one of the tires in the back spin. So one of your tires in the back is spinning. Now, if you have a limited slip differential, whenever that tire starts to spin, the other one will eventually kick in and spin with it. Whenever you have an electric rear locking differential, if you hit that button, then the tires lock together and they spin at the same rate no matter what. So both of them turn. Now, if you have just a basic 4x4 pickup and you put it in four-wheel drive, either 4 low or 4 high, one of the tires on the back spins and one of the tires on the front spin. Unless it's equipped with a limited rear differential or electric locking differential. So not many vehicles have a locker, also called a locker in the back and the front axle. But a couple of vehicles do. The Chevy Colorado ZR2 has electric locking differentials. The Dodge Power Wagon and the Jeep Rubicon. So Jeep Rubicon has the same thing. Also, like a Mercedes G-Wagon has these locking differentials. And the 80s series Toyota Land Cruiser had factory electric locking differentials. And I think the original International Scout had them. Anyway, there's a few other vehicles that might have them. Now you can get them aftermarket, but they're going to cost you over $2,000 probably per axle. ARB makes an air compressor locker that you can get. But it really locking differentials really make a truck or a Jeep or whatever truly four by four, in my opinion. So it's like a tractor, like both wheels spin together and both wheels in the front spin together, and it'll go up anything. Literally, it'll climb a wall. And so I've always been interested in trucks. My dad, growing up, my dad always had cool old trucks, and I've just been just amazed by them over the years. And now my son George, he loves vehicles, loves trucks, loves cars, and he loves the. We took him to the theater to see Ford versus Ferrari, so he loves the Ford GT, which is the Ford supercar. And I'm not talking about the Mustang GT. I'm talking about the Ford GT, which they just made a new one, and I think it's over $1 million new. Um, but it's the car that beat Ferrari at Le Mans, and such a cool car. Ashley and I had the privilege and the pleasure. We leased a Tesla, and not just any Tesla, but the P100D Model S, which P stands for performance. 100 is the how many kilowatt the battery is, and then D stands for dual motor. So it had a motor on the front axle and the back axle, and it was actually a four-wheel drive car, but it was performance, had ludicrous mode. So it's an electric car, 100% electric, the fastest car you could buy at the time. And fast, I mean fast by going 0 to 60. So it went 0 to 60 in 2.2 seconds. So faster than any like Lamborghini, Ferrari, or whatever. And of course, after 0 to 60, the other cars, the supercars, would eventually catch up with it. But man, such an incredible vehicle. In Tesla, the thing I love about Tesla is like it's all American made. Elon Musk, he's from South Africa originally, but he came here and he created PayPal, and he sold PayPal, and with I think he got 100 million or 100 billion from selling that, and he created Tesla, Solar City, and SpaceX. And he's created several other companies since then. But these cars, and you might be an electric car hater. I was an electric car hater until I drove a Tesla. If you drive a Tesla, you will be amazed. It's like driving a magic carpet. If you want to drive from here to Dallas, there's nothing better, nothing smoother, nothing funner to drive than a Tesla. I've actually got the Tesla Cybertruck. I have a deposit on it. I can't wait till it comes out. They started to build the factory in Austin that they're going to build it at, and it's going to be four-wheel drive. It's going to have a battery that can go over 500 miles on a charge. And it's also going to be a generator. You're going to be able to plug power tools just directly into the truck. They actually have a electric four-wheeler that it will drive up the ramp, has a ramp. The tailgate's also a ramp. It goes up in the back of it. It charges so you can get out and ride your electric four-wheeler. I don't know. It's just crazy stuff. Living in the year 2020, 2020's been a shit show. I mean, no doubt, with the coronavirus and all the crap that's happening. But being able to be alive right now, to see all the technology, and we got these electric cars that are awesome. We have the internet. You can listen to any song you want, see any movie you want. We're still Americans, even though our country seems like it's falling apart. It's still the best. It's still like winning the lottery to be born in the United States of America. So many opportunities. But the technology, man, think about just from the 80s. You ever thought like a Kodak, like a Polaroid camera or a film, like you're taking pictures and you have to develop this film. Now all of that stuff's on your phone. The camera that's on your iPhone is better than any Canon Rebel camera that you could have bought, before this. It's nuts. And then it's instantly there. You can see it, you can edit it on your phone, and you can upload it to your website or Facebook or Instagram. It's amazing. You can shoot an entire movie on your phone, and the quality of it would be better than a lot of the motion pictures in the past. I mean, it's insane how technology is moving along, and it's wonderful. I'm excited. I'm excited about the possibilities. like think about just medically, like your phone, eventually could be, an app could be used to, take your vitals and take your, blood sample or, breath, pulse ox, all these things. You probably already have that, but, like your days of going to a hospital waiting room and waiting are probably over, and it's really for the better. Um, and we're gonna move along. I firmly believe eventually everybody will be driving an electric car. I believe that we'll get most of our energy from the sun, which we should. The sun is an incredible energy source. Why are we not getting energy from the sun? Um, I think we'll still need oil and gas. We'll still need that for tires, for roads, and for a lot of other things. But as far as like for power, I don't think so. Could be wrong. I don't know everything. I don't know most actually. I just know, the sign. I think the sign of intelligence for someone is just being able to admit that you don't know everything. Another reason for this podcast, man, going back to it again, I love to learn, and I don't know anything. Compared to who? Somebody that comes in and thinks they know everything. I mean, people hate that. We call them that person a know-it-all. In the army, I had Sergeant Lambert, um, Sergeant Major Lambert from England. He called he had a term. They say it in the English Army, UK or whatever they're calling themselves these days. Those damn Brits. It was the funniest thing ever. He says like, we call it like a know-it-all or a one-upper here. Like whenever you have something good to say, you're telling you're proud of yourself, and then somebody comes along, instead of just being happy for you, they one up you. They say, so, well, what a, my car is even faster. Well, I drove, that drove in this or whatever. God, I hope I don't do that to people, but I probably do. But anyway, in the UK, he goes, Sam, you know what that person's called in the United Kingdom, don't you? I said, what? He goes, a two shits. I said, what? He said, two shits. He goes, for every shit you've taken, they've taken two. Oh, two shits. Anyway, that's a funny story. So, yeah, I lost my train of thought there. Oh, two shits. So, in the Army, I got some good advice one time. I was an officer, a West Point graduate, coming into a new platoon, second lieutenant. You don't really have any experience. You've been to the schools like Ranger School and Airborne School, and officer training or whatever. So you have the knowledge, but it's just school knowledge. There's no experience. You get to a 39-man platoon in the infantry, and everybody in there, besides the privates and some specialists, have more experience than you. Especially when I got there, everybody had already been deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan once before me. So the best thing you can do is listen to these guys, and because everybody knows there's a book way of doing something, and then there's the real way you actually do it. And of course, the officer's job is responsibility. You're legally responsible for your men and the mission and all these things. But the best thing you could do, like machine gun, like we got trained on machine guns, like the 240 Bravo, which is the M60 from Rambo and all those things from Vietnam. Now we have what's called an M240 Bravo, which now they even have a lighter one. But this was like the 7.62 millimeter, basically 308 on a belt that goes on a tripod if you want it to, and shoots, fully automatic. Well, you have a machine gunner or a couple of machine gunners, actually 3 in an infantry platoon, but you have 1 in a squad. And the best thing you could do as a leader is go in there and be like, look at it, and then instead of just telling them everything you know about it, get them to teach you. Get your subordinates to teach you. And see what they can tell you. They might be, and if they teach you wrong and you think about it for a while, you go in and correct them. But let them show you what they know. and then act like they're teaching you something. And they probably actually will teach you something. But that'll empower them, and they say, "Man, I taught the lieutenant, or I taught the boss. In this case, you can relate this to anything. I taught the boss something today." And the best way to learn something is to teach it. So when they're teaching you, they're learning again, and it helps. It's beneficial for everyone. But if you go in there like a two shits, they're not going to respect you anymore for that. And um, so plus, like in the podcast, I'm interviewing some older guys like George Berg, 70, 72, Pat Puckett, 74. I'm gonna get my dad in here. He's 72, I believe. Um, these guys aren't gonna be around forever, unfortunately. And I want to know all the stories before they pass, and just have them documented so other people can learn. And being completely selfish, I want to learn them, and I'm enjoying doing this. This is the ninth episode, like right now. But these 8 episodes that I've done, like every single one of them, I've just loved. I just sit here, have a conversation, really digest what I'm taking in, ask questions, like when George Berg, he said he was 19 when went and enlisted in the Marines for Vietnam. He was 19 years old, and he said when he made the decision, he did a U-turn on the highway in his car. I asked him, "What kind of car were you in?" And he said Plymouth something or another. But it was funny. It just for him to think about, that. And anyway, I love it. Love it. So I've been getting lately. I've been getting lots of people booking hunts out at the Lost Cody Ranch. If you didn't know, we have a hunting lease here. So when I bought this property, I noticed that a lot of the pastures were just destroyed by hogs. And I have game pictures. Now I bought some game cameras, and I have some photos of like groups of 50 hogs. So I made a Facebook page, and I put it on the Texas Department of Wildlife page, and I also have Paul Moore with DFW Hunting helps book hunts. But a lot of people from Dallas and Houston come up here to go hog hunting. And I was like, man, I don't really want. I mean, I'll go and shoot the hogs myself, but I'd rather have somebody paying me to shoot the hogs. So anyway, I just got a text. I got somebody coming tomorrow night, and I have somebody coming the night after that. So this is turning into kind of a business, if you will. I don't know if I really wanted to get it that much, but maybe they can help me cut down on the hog population. So anyway, I just bought on Amazon. I just bought I think it's called a gamble or gramble. So whenever you want to skin a deer or a hog, you hook their back legs in this thing, you hoist them up so you can hang them upside down, skin them, let the blood drain. And we have a bunkhouse that you can sleep in if you hunt out here. It's $75 a night, but it's got a big refrigerator in there and a freezer, so they can skin the hog or the deer and put it in the freezer and take it with them when they go or whatever. Also have like a smoker and a grill they can use to eat and smoke their meat or whatever they want to do. It's really turned into a kind of a cool spot. I actually thought about putting that bunkhouse on Airbnb as well. However, it's pretty Spartan. It's just one room. There is an air conditioner, like a window unit in there. There's 2 twin beds, one double bed, and it has a bathroom with a shower and a toilet. But the sink is outside, and of course, the stove and grill and stuff's outside. So everybody's really enjoyed it. We had one couple stay there. They're supposed to stay 2 nights, and they only stayed 1. And we heard that the wife said she got bit by a spider. And definitely could have gotten bit by a spider. Lots of spiders out here, but a lot of people would be scared to probably sleep in there. It's not a hotel. It's not a nice cabin. This is not Beaver's Bend with those cabins. This is the Lost Cody Ranch in Walton, Texas. This is very Spartan, very woodsy. Lots of snakes out here, spiders, mosquitoes, hogs, deer, raccoons, ducks, cows, you name it. Had some hunters the other day say that they saw 2 lynx. Lynx. And I know there's bobcats out here, but lynx, really? So I hope it's true. I hope we do have some wild cats out here. That'd be cool to see. It's kind of like a once in a lifetime deal. Anyway, if you want to hunt, especially if you want to hunt deer this deer season, book a hunt out here. You don't have to travel to West Texas to go deer hunting. You can just go to Athens and hunt here. And especially if you don't want to get on a long-term lease, you can just come out here for one day or one night or however you wanted to do it. You can go to our Facebook page and book it through there, or give me a call or whatever, and we can book you a hunt. What else? Workouts this week. So yesterday's workout was run 800, do 30 clean and jerks, and then run a 800 for time. And it was tough. I was feeling good. My left knee's been giving me some problems, and hopefully it'll be cured and feeling good before the 100-mile race in November. But it felt good yesterday. And got in, did my clean and jerks, and then got out on the last run. Obviously, the last run was way slow, but I knew it was the last thing I had to do, so it wasn't that bad. But I just love exercise every day, and obviously it's what I do for a living, but man, I love it, and I hope you guys do too. If you guys, it kind of blows my mind that some people don't exercise every day, and of course, I take Sundays off. But exercise should just be just like personal hygiene, like you brush your teeth every day. Should do it in the morning when you get up and at night before your bed. But you should exercise at least once a day. You should put it in your routine. I don't care how busy you are. Fit it in your schedule. Schedule around that. Because long term, that's going to have a lot more to do with your success than watching TV or surfing the web or anything, drinking beer at the bar or whatever you do for your pastime. You should take fitness seriously. And once you start exercising, you'll start eating better because you want to see better results, and it'll just compound. And I love it. Do it every day, no matter what. No matter what. All right, guys. Well, this was kind of short. Thanks for tuning in, and hope I didn't bore you too much. I want to thank my sponsors, Protein Proletas, Greg Garcia's company. So thank you, Greg. Thank you, Van Zant Coffee. And be looking forward to tomorrow, where Bess and Mike Suarez are going to be on the show. And soon after that, we're going to have Virgil Melton. And after that, I'm going to ask my dad, Billy Jack, to be on the show. I'm going to interview Brian Irwin. I want to have Glenn Stern on the show, Julie Stern. I want to have Paul Michael on the show. And, of course, my buddy Patrick Spruill will be on here numerous times. It's always fun to have Patrick in here. But anyway, I'm enjoying it. Hope you are too. Good night, everybody, and see you soon. Bye.